Welcome, everybody, to this edition of CPG Insiders. I'm your host, Mark Young, and got a great guest today. We're going to talk about Amazon. And Amazon this is interesting. We had a conversation. So, Drew, you don't know this. Last week, we had a conversation about Amazon. And first off, let me introduce you, folks. So our guest today is Drew Littlejohns. Drew is a really interesting guy because he is has a company called VH Nutrition. And so he's really good at human nutrition and supplements and all of those things. But along the way, on his way of selling $60 million of that stuff on Amazon, being a bright guy, he also dove in and learned how Amazon operates. And there's a lot of crazy things going on over at Amazon. So we're going to talk about that. But Drew, let me catch you up on what we covered last week. So we had a guest on last week, and we were talking about the issue that his research shows that up to 60% of products on Amazon are now counterfeit. That is a shocking number. That 40 to 80% of people, 40 to 80% of consumers in the course of a year will get a counterfeit product, and that almost 50% of all businesses are losing sales to counterfeit products. Now, we've had this happen. One of our very own clients was getting knocked off with counterfeit products. And folks, you have to understand, they make a supplement. The counterfeit looked just like their product. It was packaged just like their product. It was in a box just like their product, except that's not the product that was inside the capsules. And at best, the product inside the capsules was filler. At worst, it was something dangerous.
Yeah.
But they were getting knocked off. And it was interesting, Drew, because the address they gave to Amazon happened to be close to my Florida home. So I literally drove over there to find these people, and it didn't exist.
Yep.
Now, what our guest last week exposed was Amazon has really opened up the gates for a lot of new resellers. And he was saying that 60% of those new resellers are located in China. And
well,
China
you want them to sell on Amazon rather than Temu, right?
They're on Amazon, and they're from China. And I can tell you again from personal experience that in China, there's no such thing as a patent. They don't respect patents. They don't respect trademarks. They don't respect copyrights. They will knock you off. And I'll even tell you this, folks, if you've never manufactured in China, if you go to China, like Shenzhen is a really big place for manufacturing in China. Saturday is the day off. The plants run 6 days a week. On the sixth day or the seventh day, it's not a point of God rested. It's a point of the back doors of all the plants open up, and you can walk up and down the alleys and buy branded American goods out the back door for pennies on the dollar. Whether you want, Nike shoes or a Gucci handbag or, an Apple iPhone, this stuff is being peddled out in the alley right from the factory with your name on it and being sold. Now these people are moving into Amazon. Now, this doesn't cover, I'm going to cover one other Amazon problem, and that is Amazon and eBay have now become the two biggest electronic fencing operations in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a crazy problem going on with organized retail theft. Again, one of our clients has a product that literally organized groups hit Walmarts in entire cities. Or Walgreens will go to a city, hit every Walgreens, and just clear the shelves of their products, especially in places like California, where you can steal $950 worth of stuff and walk out the door and wave to a cop on your way out with your bag of stuff. These theft rings, and I find this to be shocking, these theft rings are so large and so organized that they now have large warehouses, literally with fork trucks running around inside them, moving product that's being sold on Amazon. Because remember, let's say you have a $50 item on Amazon, and let's say your cost to manufacture that was $10 or $15. When you steal it, you have zero manufacturing cost. So all of a sudden you can sell the $50 product for $34.95 and you're making more money than the brand. Or you have a supplement that costs $10 to make, but in China they can make it for 50 cents because it doesn't even have the supplement in it.
Mhm.
It's just a bunch of nonsense capsules. So that's what we were doing last week, Drew. So I wanted to give you that background because the audience just heard that in the last episode. So that kind of, I'm giving you that so it kind of colors where the audience's head might be
Great.
as we
Did you
expand
provide
our
the solution to
conversation.
that problem?
We've provided some solutions. This particular guy is working on an AI chain of custody solution. One of our solutions was stop selling on Amazon, which is not always a choice. Some of our solutions were to use a lot of language in your Amazon listing showing how you're the only official seller of this product and that products not sold through your page can't be verified or guaranteed or warranted. The other thing that we said was you really need to do brand registry and you really need to aggressively go after anyone who is also selling your product. And the other thing that we recommended, Drew, was don't sell your products to resellers because now you lose control of your site.
Exactly. That and there is that is the primary mechanism for this. So let me just let people know kind of who I am a little bit so we get some background. I have an Amazon nutritional supplement company that I built with my partner. We are GMP certified. We're actually wrapping up our NSF GMP certification, which is quite the thing. We've done over $60 million over the last 10 years on Amazon. And we have built this entire brand from scratch doing the actual American dream. We started, outsourced it. Then we went to a garage. Then we figured out, started doing some of that stuff. Then we did the contract manufacturing. Then we brought the manufacturing in-house. There you go. And we are a digitally native organization, meaning that we are still actively getting into retail. But we are a lot in that Amazon brand space where if you don't know how to manage your Amazon universe, right, then if you leave the internet up to chance, the internet will do what the internet does,
which is eat you.
Well, it will disseminate everything. It will decentralize everything. It will move all of your locus of power will completely go out of control. And so it is imperative. And this is why I started this whole brand manager consulting thing. Because
And
at
by
the
the
end of
way,
the
Drew,
day,
I
it
kind of
takes,
liken this to walking through the jungle undefended.
correct. You must have a guide.
The
Your
jungle is there
guide,
to eat you.
well, it's hungry. You,
Mhm.
you want to be jungle food or do you want to get to wherever it is you're going?
Right.
I mean, the amount of connections I have. So like, let's say I go to you. So I go to Mark, right? If I want to get a meeting with Kroger guy, right? It's going to take me 2 years. It's going to take you 6 hours, right? Same idea. You want to get your job done in Amazon within 48 hours. We can get your IP done. We can get your brand registry done. We can get another team of lawyers done to kick everybody off who's got your products, who are selling them. We can keep that defended in an AI kind of way. So at any time a new counterfeiter comes up to hijack your listing, they get removed. It's just an auto sends case logs.
Yeah, it is.
All of
It
that
is
stuff
playing a
is
game of whack-a-mole every day.
It is, but there are systems and there are companies that handle, and you want to go with multiple systems. And then you want to have the key is to have a brand manager in-house. So this is like a guy that I work with, right?
Mhm.
So you got a guy in-house. He's your guy. He sells everything, he tracks everything. And then you have somebody like me that whenever this guy has anything go wrong, there isn't a problem I haven't encountered on Amazon and solved. Encountered and solved. Anything that's new that I wouldn't know, I'm in 3 different masterminds that have hundreds of people in each one of them on every single thing from spatulas to supplements.
Mhm.
If you don't have that kind of a guide who can get you the resources you need, the Amazon ecosystem is designed to race to the bottom, chew you up and spit you out,
Right. It
ready
is
for the
the
next
reason you
counterfeiter to
need
come
a
in.
Sherpa on your way up the mountain. So one of the things that we've been telling people, Drew,
Yeah.
is when you're selling your product, and let's say you're selling a supplement, and you
Okay.
have local pharmacies buying the supplement from you, and you have some medical practices buying the supplement. We've been counseling our clients to actually have a vendor agreement that prohibits them from selling on Amazon
100%.
or requires them to sell on Amazon at manufacturer's list price.
No one is allowed to sell on Amazon except for you, ever, period. The door is never open this way. And the reason for that is because you want to be able to communicate. And I don't mean to speak so firmly, but I'm very passionate about this.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm so passionate about it is because you need to be able to tell brand registry, this is the contract that they signed. This is the contract. This is the contract that we sign. No one is allowed to sell our products, period. Because you have to remember, when you talk to Amazon, you are always going to talk to a different customer service person every single time. You will never talk to the same person twice. That's why when your standard operating procedures in your company, they need to be bulletproof. Everybody in your company needs to know that nobody else sells your products, period. That's the end of that story.
That's what we
Um,
prefer. We prefer that they contract people out of selling it
yes.
so that
Yeah.
you're
And that's a
the only
difficult
person
thing.
selling.
In the universe before, it was normal. It was like, yeah, we're going to wholesale to you and you just get rid of it. Here's your map pricing and do your best, right? Nowadays, you really got to be careful with that, because they might sign a map agreement, but what? They're going to send those wholesale products over to some other guy, right? Now you got to contend with that. And so half of the Amazon system is defending the pathway through which legitimate products flow. The other part of it is defending against when illegitimate products crop up,
Right, which
all
can
while
be
you're trying to
stolen.
actually make money.
Yeah, they can be knockoffs, they can be stolen, they could be
Yeah,
being U-boated or resold.
correct. And it's very hard, because when somebody turns around to resell, so we have Amazon instructed to not accept any returns for any reason for any of our products. I don't know if you saw, there was an article in Bloomberg the other day about a woman who, their entire Amazon business, they were doing 2 million a year, completely crumbled because somebody returned a dirty diaper and Amazon resold the dirty diaper.
Oh,
And their entire business went out. That one-star review got voted in the most critical review section and tanked their entire business, sold the house, everything went down. Right. So this just also speaks to diversification, review management. I've got 3 different companies I could call at any time. And if you say, Drew, I got this review, what are we going to do with it? Well, there are 19 different variations of your review for why it could be wrong. We don't know which one it is. So we will submit 19 cases, because you have to fire at every single potential option. Does that make
so you have
sense?
you have to actually file 19 rebuttals?
Yeah, you have to file 19 variations for why that review could or could not be wrong.
Okay.
And so normally a
What are
review
some
service,
examples of why it could be wrong? Not all 19, but what's some examples?
some example is that the product arrived broken. That's not a you issue. That's an Amazon shipping issue, right? The product was dirty. The product, when I used the product, or the product worked good, didn't work good. If it lacks enough words, you can get it removed. Anything that is not a direct reflection of the product in use
Yeah, my
is
favorites are you see somebody get a 1-star review because Amazon delivered late.
right, normal. And those are relatively easy to get removed. What a lot of sellers don't understand is this. Sometimes some cases require over 300 phone calls
Good Lord.
at an hour a piece. That's 300 hours of talking on the phone
That's
to
2 months.
resolve a single issue.
Yeah, so that's one person for 2 months.
Yes. So Amazon, I have an internal map in my own kind of what I do. that is of the 13 that I have so far tracked, different escalation pathways you can take in Amazon to resolve a problem.
Okay.
So you have 13 pathways, 19 different ways just for the reviews,
How do you figure
right?
out which pathway to go, or do you just kind of guess at it from experience and then jump to the next one?
At some point you're just a guide in the Amazon jungle. It is a great way to know. Like, how do I know there's piranhas in the water? Like, don't ask.
Hmm.
Like, you don't, you see
Assume
how I'm
they're in
missing a
there.
finger? Yeah. Assume that this missing finger didn't just fall off. Assume that it was bit off at some point in time by something. And I just have a good hunch. Like, if you give me an issue that you're talking about there with brand registry, it may be brand registry, but it also could be catalog. Catalog could be a great way to get that thing taken down. Another great way is the different escalation pathways. They change their escalation pathways about once every 3 months.
Now, what's going on at Amazon with AI? How's that changing how Amazon's functioning?
Well, that's a great question. I'm stoked you brought it up because one of the big problems that we've noticed that is going to be really challenging for your audience, the CPG audience, is going to be the time it takes to respond to algorithm changes when they start happening in real time with AI, right? How long does it take for you to get copy approved? That's going to be SEO'd well for your listings. How long is it going to take for your listing image to be approved, right? In order for the algorithms to like it. So what's happened is, and just I'm going to give you guys just a big dirty kind of look at it, and then Mark, you can kind of dive into this where you feel that it will be the most value for your listener base, because I can really get in the weeds with this stuff. So
Mhm.
so YouTube was the pioneer of a search algorithm strategy that indicated that suggested search was more relevant and potent for monthly active user time on site than search, like technical search, right? So for example, the average user spends 70% of their time on YouTube looking at suggested content,
Mhm.
not at content they searched for.
I can see that.
TikTok is like 95%.
Right.
Just like nobody searches anything on TikTok. You just go on there and say, Internet, make me happy, right? That's how
Mhm.
TikTok works. Amazon is moving to that. So let's say that Amazon has heard you mention a backpacking trip that you're going on. And then it knows in the past that you're 40 years old, and it knows that you're a size 10 and a half shoe because you bought a pair of shoes a while ago, and knows that you have a wide
Mhm.
toe box. You might one day go on your Amazon and just boom, there's a backpacking shoe for you already, because Alexa's already looked through your email. It already knows that you've got a flight going to Colorado on July 10th. And so it starts sending you shoe stuff now, right? So the
Right. So
new
let's
AI
back up for a minute
algorithms,
there. You just said
yeah, sure,
Alexa was looking through my email.
could be
So how does Alexa get
listening.
access to that? And how much information do you know that Alexa is absorbing or cataloging that just happens in conversations in my home or office?
Okay. I don't want to scare anybody here. We're not gonna get too weird, but we'll get weird enough to be weird.
Hmm.
Not weird, not
Should be
so
weird
weird
enough to
that,
make you frightened anyways.
okay. I went on my phone a while ago, and you go into a thing and you say, okay, Siri, I don't want to have Siri. So you turn off Siri. Okay, that's done.
I have.
Turn off Alexa.
I
That's
don't
great.
have an
That's good.
Alexa.
I don't either. For all these reasons I'm about to share with you. Then if you each individual app will indicate in your iPhone, do you want to allow this app to talk to other apps?
Hmm.
And if one of those apps can has access to your microphone, every app has access to the microphone, even if you've turned the microphone off for that app, because it's still sharing the data with the other apps.
Hmm.
So all of the apps have basically developed a neural network with each other on your phone. Also, I was always really curious. I mean, okay, look at this. There's a couple of things. First of all, Amazon bought Roomba a long time ago, right?
Hmm.
Why did Amazon buy Roomba? Do they care about vacuums?
No, but it gives them all the square footage of your house.
That's exactly right. They know the floor plan of like 60 million Americans, and where they not just where they live, but like all kinds of stuff about them.
Where the furniture is located.
That's right. What kind of furniture they might have, right? The value of the home. Well, all of these aspects of AI. I mean, so you remember the patent wars with Nokia and Sprint and all those guys? You remember that? The same thing happened recently with patent filings with regard to audio. About 5 years ago, everybody from Google, Amazon, everybody was obsessed with audio. And I had been wondering, why is this? And it's just simply because the phone has the main thing it's going to pick up is the 16,000 words a day that the average person spends talking. That's why
I give
audio was
people an
fought over.
experiment. I will tell people who have Alexa or have Siri, I will tell them, go home tonight and hold a fake conversation about a set of golf clubs. That your golf club's getting old. I need new golf clubs. I'm going to start shopping for golf clubs. And I'm going to buy some new golf clubs. Now, tell me how long it takes for you to get banner ads offering golf clubs.
36 hours, maybe.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah. There are things that I can't reconcile, which is thoughts that I think that I intentionally don't say out loud or talk about that appear on my phone. There's things that I experience because I'm on the phone all the time. I'm on the internet all the time. And these new Amazon AI algorithms, where it basically says, okay, if we want to show Drew this pair of boots, right? Back to our boots problem. That boot listing needs to have a picture of a bald, bearded, 40-year-old white guy, because then we know that it is flawlessly semantically relevant to Drew. And so what we're seeing in our listings is that to appease the Amazon algorithm, we actually have to build listings designed to be interpreted by AI. You're not even building a listing for the user anymore. You're building a listing based upon whether or not the AI is going to interpret it as the correct thing for your user. And that creates a whole nother set of problems. But what we have found in updating all of our listings in this way is that we saw an instant uptick in about 14 to 18% in sales in units.
Now, another thing that I always get concerned with people is your phone's listening to you, the Alexa's listening to you.
Yep.
If you're using services like Gmail, then your email is getting read.
Well, Gmail's free.
Nothing's
for that
free.
reason.
I always try to tell people when you think of Google and Facebook and TikTok and all these things being free services, understand they're not free services. You are the product.
Yeah. They did not become
product.
The biggest companies in the world by selling things for free.
No, they're selling us.
That's right.
And by the way, as a guy who runs an ad agency, I buy it.
How could you not?
We buy that data all day long.
Yeah.
If I want to find women of a certain age that drive a certain type of car and they go to Target stores 3 times in 30 days, and they also go to a gym 3 times a month, and they eat a particular restaurant, I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you coach your current group of people that you work with advertising? What do they do when it comes to when they have a problem with Amazon, or is Amazon just a problem for most of these retailers?
Amazon is a problem, and I'll tell you why. Because we need to do a paradigm shift in people's thinking.
All right.
Amazon started off as a cottage industry, like eBay.
Yeah, I used to get made fun of for selling on Amazon.
Right. Oh, look, I can go sell some stuff on eBay or Amazon.
Yeah.
And people still have the paradigm in their head. Amazon's easy. I just need to put up a page and ship some product over there, and the money will start coming in.
Yeah.
And they're not realizing now that an Amazon business requires an Amazon staff. It requires Amazon consultants, Amazon experts, dedicated employees to Amazon. That it's a business that needs to be cultivated on an hour-by-hour basis.
Yes, 100%. You have a broker for retail, you better have a consultant. You better have one, because when your listing gets quarantined, you're going to die. And it's going to cost $20,000 a day.
And that's your advantage. So you have your broker for Walmart, and something goes wrong at Walmart.
Mhm.
Well, the first call you make is to the broker. Hey, we
That's
got a
right.
problem over here. The broker jumps in. He knows who to contact. He knows how to fix the problem. Maybe it was a mistake in EDI for shipping. He knows how to fix the problem and make the problem go away so that
Right.
you don't risk your business at Walmart. You now need to do the same thing in Amazon. We're getting to that
Right.
level now. But I got to tell you, Drew, many companies think they can run it themselves. And I'll tell you the other place we see this. We see this with the website. Well, I've got a nephew who knows how to put up websites.
Oh my God.
We see that all the time. Well,
The
that's great.
nephew.
Is your nephew a human factor expert, a graphics expert, a AI expert, a programming expert, or are they an expert in sales, or are they a copywriter? Because all
Right.
these different skill sets go into making that website. And it'd be very rare to find someone who has them all. But well, my nephew
Yeah.
knows how to put websites up. That's the same
Great.
thing that happens with Amazon. Well, my nephew can handle Amazon because he knows how to put an Amazon page up.
Yeah. So what you need in that situation, and not to be overly prideful, you need somebody like me. You need somebody who's a digital native. I was born on the internet, like in the Matrix, right?
Right. I
I
am a
started doing,
I am a digital immigrant,
right. You are.
and I
Your
consider myself to
generation, they're
be,
you digital
yes,
immigrants.
I'm a
I
digital
started doing
immigrant.
search engine optimization for Google in 2006, before the iPhone was a thing. I was there in the yellow page industry when Dex, you remember when Dex went bust? Yellow pages, super pages. Remember when AT&T
I
bought super?
predicted they would go that the yellow pages would go bankrupt. I predicted that 5 to 10 years before it happened.
I was there. I saw all the RH Donnelly employees come in to the office where I was selling. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been in this industry for a long time. I started doing search engine optimization a long time ago. I've been selling on Amazon in some way, shape, or form since 2011. Literally, I was laughed out of most rooms when I was 31 initially and 28. By the time I was 32, I was working 4 hours a week most of the time. And so what we have to look at is when you've got this issue, and I grew with Amazon. So one of the benefits that I have of being such a digital native is that I was there. I was there when Seller Central changed. I know when brand registry was launched. I've been there for every ad change, every policy change, every listing violation change. I've been there to watch every single one of these departments crop up. So to me, they actually make some sense because I understood, because I lived in the center of the city and watched the urban sprawl happen. But if you just showed up to Los Angeles and you had no frame of reference for
Mm-hmm.
how Los Angeles was built, you'd be lost, right?
Now, by the way, Amazon claims that
Yeah.
they've committed billions of dollars in resources to getting rid of all these counterfeit products. But in reality, Amazon doesn't benefit by getting rid of all the counterfeit products.
Eventually, in the long game, you are correct in the short term.
In the
In the
short term,
long game, eventually Amazon will have to subject itself to being a normal retailer. We're seeing that right now with supplements. If you want to
right.
sell a supplement on Amazon, it has to be NSF 167 certified, made in a 455-2 facility. Back in the day, you do whatever you want.
But they're still letting the counterfeits bleed through.
They are. They are letting it. And again, that's why it's so important to have one source that flows into Amazon that sells your IP that no one else is allowed to sell. And then to make sure that you've got somebody that you can call 24/7. And when you call them and say, look, there's a counterfeit listing, they just say no problem. Or better yet, they just send you an email and say, look, we saw a counterfeit listing pop up. We took care of it. See you later. Have a good day.
So how exactly is the search and AI issue changing how people should interact with Amazon and even how they should interact with the internet in general?
Well, the biggest thing to I'm in the middle of my PhD thesis, and
Hmm.
part of that work is on the impact of AI in humanity, right? What you've just asked is a very human question, which is, hey, Drew, when I touch the source that contains all of the knowledge of mankind, how should I think about that? Well, you should probably approach it carefully.
I always tell people
And
when we think about AI, and our
yeah,
audience has heard this before,
okay,
you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to someone who knows how to leverage AI.
that's correct.
And AI is a great repository of human knowledge. It is not the creator of something new because it
It
can't
can't create new
create
things.
new.
Right.
It can only collect existing.
Yes,
Real ingenuity is always going to lie with humanity.
correct. So AI is actually going to wind up creating it's going to create as many jobs as it destroys, because for every one guy who's really good at writing code who uses AI to write the code and then AI writes garbage code, you're going to have to hire 10 engineers to come in and clean that code back up because it
Now, I'll
writes
tell you where
garbage
I
code.
have found AI to be super helpful.
Yeah.
Um, if I'm talking with, because I sometimes help people with their medical issues, and if somebody gives me a list of 8 pharmaceuticals they're taking,
Yeah.
I'll go to AI, I'll type in all 8 pharmaceuticals and instruct it to give me all interactions. And it
Right.
does an amazing job of that.
Yeah.
Or I'll put in 4 disease states and
Yes.
get overlapping problems. What these 4 disease states, what are the protocols that fit these 4 disease states that do not interfere and interact with each other's disease state? And it'll do a great job.
Yeah.
But you can't go there and ask it to solve a problem that hasn't been solved.
No. And most of the problems that the average human encounters is a problem that hasn't been solved. I mean, we're talking about with deep specificity, right?
Right.
And so when you're approaching, say, the Amazon issue, Amazon has one AI that manages everything that Amazon knows about Amazon. It knows
And
all of
knows about
Amazon's
you.
policies. Well, that's a different one. So Cosmo is the one where Amazon knows everything about Amazon, and it
Okay.
knows when it updates a policy, and it says we are inspecting every single testosterone booster to make sure that it has an NSF certification, and then it will just go through and say you've got a women's product that is an anti-testosterone booster, right? It will
Mhm.
flag that as a testosterone booster because you have that word in the title. And now your women's anti-testosterone booster is going to be flagged because that AI is going to flag it. Right. So AI, so they deploy an AI contained in the Amazon ecosystem to manage all these listings. That's why the counterfeits don't get caught very often, because they have to get caught by AI unless you know the proper channel through brand registry under which to call through. And this is critical, what time of day to call. The
Yeah, the
time of day
AI's
indicates whether or not you get where you want to go.
and the AI misses a lot. I'll give you an example. I just launched
Oh
a
yeah.
new website for my apartment complex.
Okay.
Google flagged my new apartment complex website as a gambling site,
Nice.
as a gaming site. There is nothing on that site
Yep.
that would indicate that there is gambling or gaming going on when you rent an apartment.
So who are you going to call now that you know that you've got this problem with Google?
Well, see, that's the beauty of it. We have an entire team in-house. So our team immediately got to work
Yeah.
and we were able to fix the problem in, probably 3 hours. It probably took us three
There you go.
hours to get it fixed.
Yeah.
But had we
Complicated.
not had all the contacts and the people we have, that site could have been down for 3 months.
Or never, or you would have just gotten discouraged, never really done it, and then it just gone by the wayside,
Right.
which is what happens to so many retailers on Amazon. So you see this. Oh gosh, I watched one of your the gummies. I watched your gummies podcast last night, and
Okay.
and just enjoyed listening to that. And man, when they were talking about their Amazon experience, Mark, broke my heart for two reasons. One, that you didn't just have them give me a call. Like, give them my number, have them give me a call. I mean,
I am sure
I
they're
had
listening
so
right now.
All right. Well, make sure that they reach out. And then the other thing is that I thought, man, these guys, that when you discussed the diabetic niche versus the keto niche, there's so many things that they can do from a packaging, repackaging, rebranding, relaunching. Same, because remember, in Amazon, you get an infinite amount of space.
Mhm.
But what happens is you get all these zombie products because once you hit that, once you collapse below 4 stars, you are now you might as well just delist, honest, generally speaking, because
Really?
now you're going to get into that zombie space. Yeah, because unless your category allows for 3.5 stars. Does that make sense? If
Mhm.
your category allows for 3.5 stars, that's fine. If your category does not allow for, like, if you go and you search your main keyword and you see that the average product is 4.5 stars, you're done. It's time to retire the UPC, recall the product you have, put a new FBA sticker on it, and get a new fresh launch going with Vine or whatever products you want to do. But yeah, if you hit that 3.5 star and you're over a recoverable amount, right? Get above 150 reviews, and
Mhm.
you're 3.5 star.
Yeah, they're
What
in
people
trouble
don't
then.
realize is one star is equal to 35 5 stars.
Really?
If you want to mitigate a 1 star, you need 35 fives.
Wow.
It's unrecoverable in many ways. And even if you get the negative reviews removed, that does not guarantee under any circumstances that Amazon will recalibrate the review listing. It often will keep the score and not update the actual star rating. And that is something I have seen many times. So yeah, and then there's also just a strange probable odd too, which is just that 1 in 3 products you launch on Amazon is going to be good, and 1 in 5 is going to be great, and then the other, 8 are going to just fail for no reason other than just that they do.
The bottom line on this, folks, is if you have a dedicated staff to Amazon that is experienced,
Yep.
then you're okay, probably. If you have a consultant or a broker who is assisting you with Amazon, you're okay. If not, the two things I'm going to recommend is you consult with someone like Drew. And I'm also going to suggest that you take Amazon training classes. Like Travis Marzani sells programs and has Amazon seller issues, which I think are good even if you have a consultant, because it at least gives you the skills to have the language skills to be able to understand what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of cases, I can't even ask you to fix something if I don't even know what I'm asking for.
Right.
How do you work with somebody, Drew? Like, you come in and start by analyzing their existing Amazon business?
Yeah, if you're going to work with somebody, you're going to take them in. The first thing is just to find out what their pain level is. Is this an acute injury or is this a
Yeah,
chronic
chronic.
injury? And and if it's an acute injury, those are great. Those are like, man, you just hand me the broken thing. If you want the explanation, great. If not, we can just handle the broken thing. That's fine. What we want to look for is we want to look for some of the chronic issues. Do you um do you have 3.5 stars? Right? Is that your average rating? Do you know how to talk to Amazon's customers in a terms of service compliant way that still is in some regard to your benefit? Do you know how to do it?
Mhm.
You know what the best practices are? And each one of these best practices is industry specific. So what supplements do as best practices is different than what spatulas do for best practices, right? So have you gone onto your competitors' listings and purchased? The first thing I do is buy all of my competitors' listings and just buy one unit to see what their customer experience is like. Does that make sense? It's
Mhm.
a critical aspect. The most important thing in an Amazon sale is what happens after the consumer has received the product, which indicates whether or not they will or won't leave a review. Your average review rate is somewhere between 1 and 1.8%. What you want to do is you want to get to 3%. What do
That's a
you got to
lot.
do? What are your customers doing? What are your not customers? What are your competitors doing? So we'll look at that. I mean, that's one of the big things. We'll analyze all of the listings just to make sure that they're SEO compliant, right? And there's a lot of tools for this, but there's not a lot of tools from the AI side, right? And then it's just, it's all the other branding stuff that you would look at, but it gets missed. Maybe we updated a listing here, but the company we used that we had do that, maybe they didn't adhere. Maybe we updated our brand identity since then. So now you got colors that are off, your branding is off, the story is off,
Mhm.
right? So when you update your listings, you do them in a bulk setting. Make sure everything gets updated correctly. Make sure the brand store gets updated. Make sure that and it's funny because in Amazon, you have to do a full brand refresh, in my experience, about every 6 months.
That's a lot
The
of
Amazon
work.
algorithm wants to see that. They want to see that you are updating your listing. And then the other thing too is are your products seasonal? Are they tech-based or are they evergreen? That's going to really dictate how your business should run. If you're a drone company, right? Do you need to have the newest whiz bang every Christmas and every Memorial Day? Maybe you do. And in which case, how do you port your listing over? How do you get those products back? Because say you got a drone listing,
Mhm.
4.8 stars, and we can recover that, right? This is why a lot of reviewers like to hijack products that have a high star rating, right? Because they know that it'll get moved, right? And so when working with a customer, you finding out what is going on with their business, what kind of business, are they maximizing the potential for their business? What is their holiday strategy if they need one? Do they start ranking for Prime Day, start getting stuff in stock for Prime Day in May, right? Are they preparing for Christmas now? I mean, you should be, as you know, in CPG land, like you started preparing for Christmas 3.5 months ago, right?
Yeah, we were
Uh,
practically selling Christmas in January.
exactly. And so in Amazon, Christmas season starts after Prime Day.
Mhm.
And so those are all the things. And then we look through their performance notifications, right? Look through their FBA inventory. There's so many metrics for health. Once we've established that the brand is healthy, the listings are healthy, the story is healthy, the cohesion is healthy, and they have the standard operating procedures to handle bad things that happen all the time in Amazon. Once that is done, now you have a secure business where you can, notice I say the word can, run ads, hire influencers, and try to grow that organic ranking through relevancy, conversion rates, velocity. All of that comes into play only if you have a healthy business on the back end.
Now, Drew, I'm going to throw one last thing at you here before we wrap up,
All right.
and that is we've had several clients that have had really big, robust Amazon businesses.
Mhm.
And once they got that business to be significant, Amazon became their biggest competitor. Because then
Bags,
Amazon
what
did it.
industry?
Some of it was bedding and housewares. And we found that Amazon Basics, that Amazon figured out that this product is easy to manufacture and a good moneymaker.
Yep.
And then a year later, year and a half later, all of a sudden there's an Amazon store brand that's directly knocking them off.
Right.
How big of a problem is that? How widespread of a problem is that? And is there anything you can do with it?
There is something you can do about it. Nothing you can do in the short term unless you have IP. If you've got patent protection
Right.
for your elastic, if you're the purple mattress, I suppose, but most things that are in that commoditized business aren't going to have that kind of thing.
We've seen
Now,
it in
Amazon,
cake decorating,
at the end of the
kitchen
day, Amazon,
devices.
they cannot do good customer service. You have to win over time with customer service. And be willing to compete on the pricing side. It's a frustrating aspect. Um,
We have the same problem in retail, by the way. If
yeah,
you've got a great product in Walgreens and it's going to hit a certain level, Walmart, doesn't matter who it is. Once it hits a certain threshold, they're probably going to do a store brand of your item.
yeah,
And in many cases, come to you to ask if you want to make the store brand, which Amazon, I don't think, does. most
No.
of the big retailers will come to you first and see if you want to make the store brand.
Well, they have to respect the fact that if they destroy you as a business, then they destroy the relationship, the innovation.
And
Now
they
they got to
kill the
find
store
somebody to
brand.
make. Exactly.
The store brand
Amazon
only
doesn't have
survives when
that.
the real brand is next to it.
Right. Right. So in Amazon, one of the biggest things that you're going to have to win on is customer service, um, reviews, ratings, influencers. Um, I don't know how much you're getting into the influencer side of influencer marketing
A
side of
lot.
things. That's critical, right? We have seen now, let's say that Amazon ranks number one. This is, if I was to get really cute and get really funny and you gave me a budget for this, here's how I would solve this problem. I mean, just as a shot in the dark. We had a product that was an appetite stimulant. It helped people who are elderly increase their appetite. Well, the influencers on TikTok got a hold of it and they changed the entire keyword marketing. So remember, when Amazon launches a product, they're going to have a keyword in that title, right? And if that keyword in that title changes, then that entire listing goes belly up. So you can influence the drop down in Amazon, right? When you go to type a thing and it creates the drop down listing, you can
Right.
influence that through things like TikTok. TikTok will completely change how that works. And if the drop down menu changes, whatever Amazon ranks for will change too.
So Amazon's drop downs are not just from the Amazon universe.
Correct. They are actually influenced by the semantic, probably trends data, FastMoss data, TikTok data. Amazon's
Okay.
drop-down menu is heavily influenced by the activity on the internet.
Now, I will find that sometimes you could begin to type a product into Amazon that Amazon doesn't carry, but the Amazon
Yeah.
drop down will pick up the product, even though Amazon doesn't have it. Is that
Yeah.
from other sources, or is Amazon literally conquesting your brand even though they don't carry it?
No, it's are you talking about like if I was to type like you see this a lot in Amazon with pharmaceuticals, right?
Yeah, if you typed Apple iPad into
Right.
Amazon, it will autofill even though Apple's not on Amazon.
That's right. And so the reason for that is it's just aggregating that trend data to predict what you're trying to search for. It'll even give you things like Viagra and stuff. Like it's not a thing, but Amazon can't sell Viagra unless you go to their prescription side,
Right.
right? So Amazon is just going to try to give you, and so and back to the new AI thing, one of the biggest things in AI is actually giving them a substitute, that this product is a substitute for that product. And now as users, as people, I actually now am informing Amazon what the substitute should be. Now the companies that know how to do this, we're already winning. The companies that don't know how to indicate to Amazon what a substitute is, they're already losing. So this whole Amazon thing and getting ahead of the AI space, knowing how to respond in real time, because in Amazon, when something happens, it's not like where you get sent a letter and then you've got 2 months to comply. When something happens in Amazon, it happens now. You start losing sales today.
Yeah, it's instant feedback for sure. Well, folks,
Yeah.
if you want to talk to Drew in the future, go to the show notes for CPG Insiders. We'll have Drew's information there and contact info if you want to reach out to him and talk to him. That's it for today on CPG Insiders. Drew, appreciate you being with us. That was and it
Thanks,
was
Mark.
just great timing coming after the counterfeiting show and then rolling into
Happy
this
Prime
one.
Day.
That's right. It is Prime Day, isn't it? I
It is
forgot
Prime
about
Day.
that.
Happy Prime Day. You also can take a look at my website, which is amzfixer.com.
Yes,
And
like
that's just
Amazon Fixer.
yeah. So if you need something, if you got a question, feel free to reach out. Mark, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of
Appreciate
fun.
it, folks. If you like today's show, make sure you go leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. And if you're not subscribing, hit the subscribe button because that helps us deal with our AI overlords who comb over all of the podcasts and decide what podcast is important. Oddly enough, in the world of consumer packaged goods, this podcast actually rates pretty much number 1 or number 2 in all of the podcasts. Yeah, in all the podcast search engines. So in regards to this podcast, we're doing something very correctly. Anyways, that's it for today. We'll see you on the next episode of CPG Insiders. If you're looking to greatly increase sales on your CPG product, don't hesitate to contact us at Jekyll and Hyde Advertising and Marketing. By the way, the only advertising agency with a guaranteed result. Just go to jekyllhydeagency.com or feel free to give us a call at 800-500-4210.